Well, thank you for joining us once more. Suspension or subjugation, role of the state government in local government affairs is what we're about just now. And thank you, Barrister Greg Iyayi, for still sustaining your presence with me.
Thank you.
All right, and big thanks to you, the chairman of the Young Lawyers Benin branch, Osama Ogbomo. And I believe I still have your presence, the Misa Itote from Abuja, Vazo.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's get your thoughts, Barrister Greg. What do you see as the legal powers that the state government has over the local government councils as regards suspension and subjugation?
I think, with due respect, governors have always wanted to maintain a kind of umbilical cord between the state and the local government. But the Constitution provides for 3 tiers of government: federal, states, and local government. And the local government is the closest to the people, is the grassroots form of government. Yes, the state has some powers over the local government, but not in the way that the governors want to. Because there has always been this problem of governors wanting to arm twist and then suffocate the local government in a way they would not tolerate if the federal government wants to do it to them. They'll be talking of fiscal federalism, 3 tiers of government. But you see, I think the major attraction for this, or reason for this, is the funds of the local government. Many governors want to have access to the local government funds and so on. There was a governor in this state named Withers, who said that the campaign promises he made, that the local government were going to contribute a certain percentage of their funds to fulfill it. But some local governments resisted. They said, no, we also made campaign promises. We cannot fund your campaign promises. You made promises to them based on the resources of the state and not that of the local government. It brought, I think, the court checked him. But he didn't give up the fight. He didn't give up the fight. He fought and fought and fought till he subjugated many of the local governments. The House of Assembly has some powers when it comes to making laws for the local government, but not the kind of frivolous exercise of those powers. And we should understand this. No matter what we think is the right of the House of Assembly, the right of the governor over the local government, the courts remain the arbiter in terms of any conflict. And the apex court has given a very clear, a very unambiguous, not those type of judgments that where the court speak from both sides of the mouth, that look, you leave the local government alone. Each time there is no elected local government in power, funds will not be given to that local government. I think what happened recently was a kind of an attempt to subjugate, with the greatest respect, and the Attorney General is a well-known person to me.
Yeah.
And Samson Osagi. And with the greatest respect, he's a pastor too. But I was a little bit surprised that this had to happen under his watch. And when the apex government has just given a very resounding judgment about that. And then, to be fair to Tinubu, he had decided that what the federal government said concerning the autonomy of the local government should stand. And the AGF came out to clarify, and they said that the federal government will abide by the decision of the courts, and that the states should abide by the decision of the court. So I don't know where this came from.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's get to know your thoughts about this, Barrister Dambisa, because we look at what the Constitution says. You will be giving us the thoughts in that regard. As regards the autonomy of the local government councils, because to me, to my mind as a layman, unlike what Barrister Greg said about the three-tier, we seem not to be operating a three-tier government, because we still have a challenge where administrative immunity or administrative powers or autonomy has not been given to the local government councils. What we have just now is financial autonomy. So can you give us the limits of this autonomy as spelled out in the Nigerian Constitution? Damisa.
Okay, thank you so much. For me, if we are speaking specifically on the issue going on in Edo, will be constrained to say the matter is sub judice, and to an extent, there's you are a bit restricted to speak on a matter once it's sub judice. Once a matter is in court, lawyers are advised by the rules of professional conduct to abstain from making public comments, on issues like that. So I will be highly constrained to speak specifically on the Edo issue, because the matter is in court and it's still ongoing. It's a matter that is pending before our courts in Edo State. But generally speaking, Section 7 sub 1, of the 1999 Constitution as amended, Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution as amended, expressly provides for the local government. And Section 7 clearly states that the local government shall be operated, trying to paraphrase, shall be operated by democratically elected officials. And we are operating a constitutional democracy. In other words, whoever that is to man our local government councils must be people elected by the people and for the people, by virtue of the Constitution. Now, if you read a bit further to Section 8, it will appear that the state, when I mean the state now, the sub-unit at the state level, the state can exercise some form of influence, some form of administrative influence over the local government. Because it's the same constitution that said each state of the federation shall ensure or shall guarantee the existence of the local government. So when you say each state of the constitution shall ensure and guarantee the existence of the local government, it presupposes that you have some level of influence over the local government. And that is why administratively, yes. Of course, the financial autonomy is well established. You cannot derogate from that. And I believe that is where the Attorney General spoke from with respect to Edo, which I said I'm a bit restricted to talk about that. So administratively, you can exercise some control, some measures. Now, can a state governor or the House of Assembly remove, I choose my word very carefully, remove the local government chairman? The answer is no. Answer in the negative, because the Constitution guarantees their existence. Now, can they suspend? That matter is also in court. So we'll wait for court to interpret that.
No. So we want you to express, because we are not just on Edo State. It's a general topic. So
yes,
can they suspend?
That's what I'm saying.
Can they suspend?
No, the question is that does suspension amount to... Yeah, the question is that does suspension amount to removal? No, let us not even dwell on that.
But can the House of Assembly suspend? The State House of Assembly?
That's what I'm saying. That matter is in court. So wait for court to probably determine that the man. See, the case was filed on the 12th of December 2024 by the local government in Edo State and all of that.
All right. Now, do you mean to say that there has been no judgments or there has been no decisions by the court earlier on the suspension of the deputies or the chairman by the State House of Assembly?
No, see, what we should be focused on now is that the local government should exist. Because people like us have advocated over time for the existence of local government independently, whether administratively, financially, or otherwise, because that is the nearest to the people. Look, some of these abnormalities, some of these problems we are facing, some of the plights we are facing as a people, it is because of the absence of local government. Because they are the nearest to the people. This palliative they are sharing here and there that is causing stampede and everything. If we have a well-functional local government authority, local government council, you need to do is to empower them to serve the people. And that was why we appreciated Mr. President when the matter went to Supreme Court and the court granted financial autonomy to the local government. So this appears to be like a flagship, a focal policy of the Tinubu's administration. And we must insist as a people to say, look, local government must exist independently of any influence, whether from federal government, state government, or external influence, so that the people can be well served. Is my point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's get your bite or somewhere there, because there is difference between financial autonomy and administrative autonomy. So what influence does the state have over the local government?
Okay, if you look at the Constitution, Section 162, it talks about 3 tiers of government. We have the federal, we have the states, we have the local government. And it says allocations for this government goes to the federal, goes to the state, and goes to the local government. Although Section 162, 5 and 6, it states that there will be a joint account between the state and the local government. So which means allocation from the federal government goes to that joint account on behalf of the local government. So there have been arguments about this particular issue. But then the Supreme Court, in the Attorney General of Federation and Attorney General of Abia State and other Attorney Generals, it states that the rationale behind that particular provision was because before the 1999 Constitution, local government had to go to Abuja to get their monthly allocation. So in order to reduce cost of logistics, so they now said, okay, stop coming to Abuja, let the state, let's send money to an account, and let the state government send the money to you.
Without any constitutional amendment?
No.
Any amendment?
No, it's in the Constitution.
Okay.
It's in the Constitution. That's why the Constitution provides for a joint account between the state government and the local government. So now I'm just saying the rationale in the Supreme Constitution, why that particular provision was in that 1999 Constitution. I'm talking about prior to the 1999 Constitution. The rationale behind that particular provision was because the local government, before the 1999 Constitution, were going to Abuja to get their allocations. But then the draftmen of the 1999 Constitution now said that no, it's a lot of cost. Okay, let's have a joint account between the state and the local government. Then the money comes from the federal government. Then the state government send the money to the local government unconditionally. It should be given for the benefit of the local government. So the Supreme Court has been very clear on that. It has been very, very unambiguous and states that any money that comes to the joint accounts for the benefit of the local government should be given to the local government. Because that financial autonomy is absolute.
Okay, but I was thinking that has been taken care of by the Supreme Court's decision. It also said that it should be given to them directly.
No, they also
or is it still a joint?
They said since the allocations to those joint accounts is now causing issues where the government now use that as a threat to this local government. Like, if you do this, I won't give you your money, or they'll delay. And I said, okay, that was not the preoccupation of the Constitution. That's not what the Constitution intended. The Constitution is fundamental, the supreme law of Nigeria. So it's when interpreted, it's interpreted in sui generis, in nature, for everybody. It's to promote good governance, to promote fairness, to promote the right of people in Nigeria. So now this particular issue has now caused a lot of government now uses this as a tool to want to control the government of the local government. Section 1 and 2 of the Constitution is very clear. You cannot control government. Section 7 has stated that the local government is democratically elected, which means they are a body, a government. A government cannot control a government. I don't know if you understand. Cannot control a government. So the Supreme Court has said now that since this method is not working, then let the federal government send directly to the local government.
Exactly.
That would be very, very clear on that. That since this method, which was intended for good
Yes.
But has not been interpreted or has not been used as a tool. The question doesn't work like that. It should not be interpreted narrowly.
Okay.
You understand? So about administrative autonomy, like now Mr. Governor, he wrote a petition for them to investigate the financial records.
You mean the governor of Edo State,
Yes,
Senator Mondo Pawolo?
Yes. He wrote a petition for them to investigate the financial activities of the local government chairman.
Administratively, he has the powers to do that.
Anybody can write a petition. Anybody can write for some things to be investigated. I, as an individual citizen, can write a petition for the betterment of we Nigerians. So he did that. Those are the things that, one of the things he can do to check the excesses, or if you feel that excesses of the
So it's in order?
Yes, sir. But then the suspension itself, you can
by the State House of Assembly.
It can only be done by the legislative arm of the local government.
Which is in court, though.
Yes, which is court. For my own view, because I cannot decide on behalf of the court.
Yeah.
But it's within the ambit of the legislative arm of the local government to suspend each chairman or deputies. The state government can on its own now go and now suspend a democratically elected government.
Yeah.
It cannot.
Okay.
It cannot.
Okay, well, there's a difference between suspension and removal. Without critically going into the details as regards what the State House of Assembly, Edo, did to the local government chairmen and their deputies, because we say that the case is in court. But can you give some light into administrative autonomy that the local government councils still don't have, and the relevance of the state government to, control its affairs to some extent?
This issue is going to play out, and I'm afraid, I'm not prejudging the case, that it may not go in favor of the state governors, because the template right now is that there should be autonomy. In Saudi Arabia, there was this rule, because in law there's what you call the administrative control technique that some leaders can employ to frustrate somebody actually asserting his right. In Saudi Arabia, when they were being accused by the United Nations and the US that you don't allow women to drive, you don't give driving license, that you don't allow women to drive, they said no, that there is no law in Saudi Arabia banning any woman from driving. But if a woman applies for driving license, they will make sure that the woman doesn't get it. And if you don't have a driving license, you cannot drive. So it was the administrative control technique they were using. I think till Donald Trump in his first term, had to confront the leaders of Saudi Arabia that, look, if you are using this, if you deny somebody, driving license, you are automatically banning the person from driving. I think that's what, because if you say removal, if you say suspension, what is the effect? The effect is that that person will not function in office. And that's not the intendment.
For a period of time.
For a period of time, which they can renew. They can renew that suspension. And they can just renew that suspension till the tenure of the person will elapse. So this is where the issue is. And I think the court is going to be very vociferous about this. And I expect that the court will speak like the Supreme Court has done, very unambiguously about the powers of the states to dissolve, before they were even dissolving, suspend, remove local government, because it makes nonsense of the democratic setting, because a chairman can be elected today, and then the next week they will say he's suspended.
All right.
It makes nonsense of the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to you, Obama, but let's get to you, Barrister Damisa. Sometimes I want to think, do we make mockery of democracy? If the local government chairmen and their deputies are having issues, or if they need to look into the books, the financial records and all that, does it stop the state government from getting involved? After all, is it not right for the books to be checked? Damisa.
The question, yeah, I'm here. The question as to whether or not we make mockery of democracy is notorious. It's notorious because I've been on this platform a couple of times and I've told you that we have strong men rather than strong institutions. And that is why that is the reason we are where we are as a nation. It's a nation of strong men. It's a nation of desperate people, desperate politicians. And that is where the issue is. We do not follow the laws as a people. I'm talking generally, inclusive of the person that is speaking with you. It's known. Because there are some issues that ordinarily should be done. If we want to do it well, in line and in sync with our constitution, to follow it straight to censure. If we want to practice democracy as it is practiced in Senate claims, we should do it. If we want to have a democracy that is patterned to our Nigerianness, quote and unquote, then we should do it. We cannot have democracy, or we cannot be saying we are practicing democracy and we are practicing democracy. So clearly, we are making mockery of democracy.
Okay.
In all of our actions, in majority of all
yes. Damisa, to ask you the
actions.
direct question, who should be responsible to call the chairman and the deputies to present these financial documents? Because the governor did, and they didn't respond to that, talking about Edo State, but we are being generalistic. Now, what we know we have the legislative arm of the third tier, the local government councils. Don't they have the right to do that? And again, don't the State House of Assembly has the right to do that? And again, does the governor has the right to do that, generally speaking?
The principle of separation of power and checks and balances is well entrenched in our constitution and in our constitutional democracy. Who should checkmate who? There is a legislative house across all our local governments. The 774 local governments, those who have conducted elections. So I believe the legislature should checkmate, financially or otherwise, the local government. That is one. Then secondly, as an individual, the media should also checkmate. When there are financial infractions, the fourth realm of the estate should also petition. Lawyers, political analysts can also write petitions. If there are perceived infraction by local government, then it is the prerogative of our law enforcement agents to carry out, investigation. And when they are found wanting, the law should take its course. And that is what we should do. So the state governor, in his capacity, has the power to petition when you observe that there are some infractions here and there. You and I should also do that. The people, ultimately, the people, we should watch our local government councils. And when we found them or in our own estimation, investigation is we write petition to the various law enforcement agencies, the ICPC, the EFCC, and the police. They'll carry out the investigation. And when anyone is found culpable, they should go in for it.
Thank you.
So for me, all of us should checkmate our local government council for effectiveness and efficiency.
Thank you. For democracy to work at the grassroots, we need transparency.
Yes, just one.
And so looking at the financial records isn't just the responsibility of the governor alone. Like he said, the constitution provides that even everyone should do that. Exactly. So what is difficult in getting your books opened?
The local governments have legislative arms. We often forget this.
But they seem to be dormant.
No, we should activate them.
They seem to be dormant, and I believe that was what the governor noticed.
They were twisted. They have speaker. They have legislators. We should not forget that local government have the legislative arm. And if there is a chairman that is going out of course, you activate.
Don't you think they could be the apron string to the executive? And so they may not want to be effective, in terms of checking the books of the chairman.
Let's allow them. We have never given them the opportunity to do so.
But they have opportunities all this while.
What opportunities? When they will do election today, another governor will come and say, I'm dissolving the local government. Now, if we allow them to function, then the councillors can even hold the chairman to account. Because they are the elected representatives of their wards that make up the local government. So we should allow the local government function. We have never, I have been on this forum a number of times, and we have spoken about the local government. I'm an advocate of local government autonomy, administrative autonomy, and financial autonomy, because it is the government of the grassroots.
Okay.
Like I said before, anybody can petition anybody.
Exactly.
You understand? The governor went through that procedure also, and they're being investigated right now. So the legislative house or the local government had the only one or the only institution that can checkmate, or the people itself can checkmate the activities of the local government.
Yes, because the way it stands, if the governor can say that he wants the financial records,
yes,
and the chairmen are refusing to do that, talk less of the individuals who also may demand, that means they won't even get it. So we seem not to have transparency, accountability at the level of the top tier.
If you petition to the appropriate enforcement agency, we have the FCC, I think, which is currently ongoing right now. The FCC invite them to their office, and they are mandated and required to bring in their financial records. And the appropriate agency will then investigate or go through those records, and if there's any infraction, they'll go in for it, and there's no, they'll let them go. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
There's no two ways about it. Any individual, any NGO, any organizations, they can petition anybody, even the government.
Okay.
They can petition anybody.
Okay.
So there are so many various ways of checkmating anybody.
All right. Let's give you 1 minute each to round up on your closing remarks. Damisa, your closing remarks on this.
I will close by appealing to our political elites, especially in Edo State, with what is happening now, to put the security of lives and property into consideration in all of their political decisions, so that they will not unnecessarily eat up the policy, especially as the tribunals are about to commence in full swing in January. Local government or no local government, political elite should be mindful on both sides of the divide, should be mindful of their rhetorics, should be mindful of their actions, should be mindful of their inaction, so that Edo people, which comes first in all of their consideration, who want to come first in all of their consideration, should be paramount in their decision making.
Thank you.
Please and please, political elites, take to this advice and stay away from causing unnecessary problems for the government of the day.
Thank you,
so
Barrister Damisa Itote, joining us via Zoom all the way from Abuja. Big thanks for taking our time to be part of this, and I wish you a beautiful day ahead of you, and Merry Christmas. Okay, let's get your final thoughts on this, Barrister Greg.
States should leave the local governments alone to function and do the work that the people elected them for, because they have legislatures that can bring them actually to book if they are erring, and they have no immunity. Unlike the governors, they have no immunity. So if you report them to the appropriate agencies and they are investigated, they can be charged to court. And if they are found wanting, of course, the law will take its course.
Okay. Your final thoughts?
Okay. Generally, in all the issues, I just want to mention something out of this one. In regards of stampede, I want to show anybody that is in this festive period, I want to show anybody that is doing a charitable event to ensure that they do crowd control, to ensure they use open spaces and various exits.
Thank you.
So that this doesn't happen again. And in respect of this local government autonomy, I believe the Supreme Court will make it absolutely clear on the court will make it absolutely clear on this particular issue.
Okay.
But as of now, I believe the local government will be allowed to do their work.
All right.
Be allowed to work for the people that were elected for. It's common sense.
Okay.
The government cannot control government.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Barrister Greg Iyayi, for taking our time to be part of this in spite of your very busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
And big thanks to you, Barrister Osamode Ogbomo, the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum, Benin branch. Well, that's the much we can take on today's conversation from the Media Network Center. We'll take a short break, after which the conversation will continue. Do stay.